Welcome to Charting Cryptos and Commodities. Let's jump into the charts. Looking at 24-hour a day Bitcoin chart. Right now down 1.22% on Wednesday. Of course, we see over the last few weeks, Bitcoin did pop up that first week with that high volume and then managed to slide sideways, and this week finally starting to move up some, even though it's down for the day. Trying to find some rhyme or reason to be able to follow this. Rather difficult. We'll see Bitcoin pop up, slide sideways, pop down, pop back up again. It's been doing that since we saw the latest sort of rise back in January of this year, early January. And again, hoping that as we move along, Bitcoin is going to start giving us some discernible patterns where we can get in, get good calls to get out, particularly on this weekly chart, and be able to figure out what's really going on with just not getting hammered by the whipsaw. You know, it wasn't that way before that latest big drop. We had some months where we could pretty successfully jump in and practice trade Bitcoin. Hopefully that'll be coming back. We look at where Ethereum is, and of course these last few weeks on Ethereum, same kind of thing, popped up that first week and took it 2 more weeks to really start moving above that. Ethereum up right now 1.69%. It is above that 2-day, on the 2-day chart, above the weekly trend line. So again, we'll continue to pay attention, see where things are going and what we can learn from these charts, what they are telling us as we continue to move along and try to find some trackability. That's what matters to us. It's not really the price movement. It's the ability to accurately forecast the price movement. That ought to make a lot of sense to you. Otherwise, you're just buying and hoping you're buying at the right time, not to then just get hammered. Again, buying a little too late and then watching it roll over. So we want to see discernible patterns. What we're looking at now is BITW. That is the Bitwise Top 10 Crypto Index Fund. It's the top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted according to market share. So Bitcoin, of course, leads the way. It looks very similar to a Bitcoin chart, but it does represent the top 10 cryptocurrencies. And again, it's moved up fine when it first rotated over into the green. You had a high of $10, and so far we see the high this week, $11.75. So again, we're looking for trackability, chartability. We don't want to see things start to move up and then crash, start to move up and crash, or start to move down and then go sideways and up. I mean, we want charts that are trackable. That's what we'll continue to look for. Let's switch over now and go to commodities. The big downer for the day is UNG, which is the United States Natural Gas Fund. And of course, down, we saw where it really trundled down since that most recent high back in August of last year. Down, sideways for a while down, and sort of been going sideways up until March when it started rolling over again, heading down. So we will keep an eye on it. We see sugarcane down some for the day, but it has been on a tear since it rolled around in mid-January and just started flexing its muscles and heading up, up, up. Again, sugar prices high. Look at where we are with corn. And of course, corn has had some weeks of down movement, popped up a little bit, down this week, but again, not reaching those most recent lows yet. Not a whole lot going on in corn. Remember, a lot of humans, livestock also use corn. Soybeans, same kind of thing. Again, last week soybeans were up, down a little bit this week. So we'll continue to keep an eye there. What's up with coffee? Well, coffee, of course, had hit its most recent lows back in early January, then started moving up, sort of slipping sideways last couple of weeks, gaining a little bit of momentum there. And what about the U.S. Gas Fund? Well, gas is on the rise. Why? Well, if we listen to the news, We hear about the Russians making deals to sell oil in renminbi, in the Chinese currency, and the Saudis doing deals with the Chinese, OPEC cutting back on its supply. So we may be seeing gas go up, up, up. But again, some climbs here over the last actually 3 weeks. You can see on this 2-day chart, oil started off moving up around the $55.98 mark to a most recent high of $65.63. And this is the 2-day chart. Happened that quickly here over just about 3 weeks. What about wheat? Well, wheat, of course, has been trundling sideways for a while and actually moving a little bit further down. Now, gold, I've been doing great in gold miner stocks lately. We'll get to silver in just a minute. But gold, as I just talked about, as I talk about every day, gold is not catching fire this week yet. Up for the day, about 0.5%, but we will keep an eye on things, see if it's going to digest these most latest gains and move up again. What about copper? Up about 1% for the day, but really copper's just sort of been sliding sideways with a bit of an edge for some down movement. But we can see on this half-day chart with the last 2 days, it's been edging up nicely. Move on to oil overall. This is the iPath Pure Beta Crude Oil Fund. And we see over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, as oil has been going up, sort of explained that a little earlier when we were looking at gasoline. What do we see with silver? Man, look at silver on a tear. Going into the 5th week, started back in March. We saw the opening around $19 and up to a high of $23.47. Is that not beautiful? Folks, that's where we are on cryptos and commodities. Again, if you can track these things, you can practice trade these things. And of course, you also know sort of what's really going on in the world. That's why I like looking at these commodities to understand and balance what's really going on with commodities, things people eat, they trade, they use in commercial enterprises, in industry, in our cars, whether it's oil, gas, in our homes, natural gas, sugar, wheat, corn, soybean. All of those kinds of things give you some real world application for what's really going on and putting your charting knowledge to use. And of course, these are ETFs and ETVs that you can sure look at practice trading. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth, World Headquarters